Welcome to the Bunch of Punts betting podcast, your specialist show for football long shot bets. I'm joined by Father Matthew O'Regan. How are you doing?
I'm struggling today. I'm not in a good state, but I'm troopering through.
Why? What did you do last night?
Went to the darts and I'm a bit worse for wear this morning. Well, this afternoon I didn't suffice from bed until about 1.
Yeah, tell me about it. I've been messaging you all day. Are you up yet? Are you up yet? Can we do the podcast yet? Here he is, though, in top form. Dressed as a priest last night as well, weren't you? I think.
Yeah, we did lucky dip for the darts, like a Secret Santa sort of thing. So we didn't know what we were going as until we turned up at the pub. And then mate whacked out a priest outfit, so it was alright. Could have been worse.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse. We'll keep this show pretty sharp then, because I'm ready for the pub as well. It's Friday afternoon when we're recording. The midweek was rotten for me. Can't catch a break at the minute. I'm just terrible judge of games at the minute, so how much you want to listen to me on this show, I don't know. I'm just looking at yours, Matthew. You got a few up. Scottish game got up. You ready to tweet that out? So I had put it on the record. Bit sneaky and filed as well, but it's been a bit hard work recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm finding it hard to find the winners. Filed was straight because Filed was a good price, but I also tipped win and both teams score for CBK at 6.5, so it would have been a nice winner if I tipped that for this show.
Yeah, it would have been saving your best tips for elsewhere, you scumbag. We've got lots of bets on this show. Non-league nerds as ever. A few bets from down there. Working our way up the EFL. We've got League 2, League 1, Premier League. I've gone across to Spain, and I've got some long shots lined up, ranging from 40 to 1 to about 300 to 1. So there'll be a point on everything unless we say otherwise. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I'm starting with Eastleigh win and both teams to score against Hartlepool. Hopefully third time lucky for me this selection. It's last 2 times I've done it, Eastleigh have won comfortably but not conceded. But I'm hopeful this time. It's landed 13 out of 18 at home for Eastleigh, 12 out of 18 away for Hartlepool, including the last 4. Eastleigh are on the brink of playoffs and boast a really strong home record with 31 points from 18. Hartlepool, awful form and lost 4 in a row. I said last time I backed against Hartlepool, they're on the beach, but they're not at the moment. They're sort of getting dragged into a relegation battle with the teams below them. So if they're not careful, they could get dragged in. I think they've got a really tough game, long journey as well. So yeah, Eastleigh win and both teams scored 4.75. Dorking win and both teams scoring against Chelmsford at 3s. Both team scores landed in the league high 13 out of 18 for Dorking at home and a league high 14 out of 18 for Chelmsford away. Dorking are unbeaten since the 18th of Jan and sit top of the league. They average 2.94 goals per home game and taken 33 points from 18. Chelmsford away games have seen 3.3 goals, and they've got a new manager in Angelo Harrop, who's brilliant, ex-Braintree, and he should get them playing on the front foot. But yeah, Dorking should have too much and win, and both teams got 3s. Won't be a surprise to anyone. I've gone Worthing win and both teams score at 3.4. I'm determined to get a Worthing selection right recently. I've been getting it wrong. I had both teams score in both halves against Chelmsford, which lost, but Worthing won and both teams score, which I didn't tip for once, but I'm sticking with the win and both teams score this time. It's landed last 5 Worthing home games and 14 out of 18 for Chesham away. Worthing are really strong at home and taking 35 from 17, and Chesham are in a bit of bad form. Lost 4 of the last 6 and just mid-table, like nowhere near playoffs, nowhere near relegation. So it's a big game for Worthing. So Worthing should have too much. So winning both teams got 3.4. And then finally, I've gone in the Eastleigh Prem, Whitehawk to beat Chatham at 3.6. Weirdly, one of my biggest stakes in recent memory was Chatham to beat Whitehawk early in the season. You know when you just really like a bet and just like you have more than you should on it, you sort of lump.
Yes.
So I sort of gamble responsibly, obviously, but I did lump quite a lot on Chatham to beat Whitehawk early in the season, and it won 5-0. So it feels weird to back the opposite in the reverse, but it's a new Whitehawk. Their last season's management team have returned and they're flying up the league. They've only lost once at home in the last 8, and that was against a really strong Horsham team, taking 27 from 16 at home. And the enclosed ground, their ground is like right in the countryside. It's a very tough place to go Whitehawk when they're on form. So I can see Chatham struggling. They've only taken 16 from 15 away games, and they're 6 without a win. So final non-league selection, Whitehawk win at 3.6.
I do know when you really like a selection and you lump on it. Last one for me was that Hughes card. You remember it?
Yeah, that was another lump for me. But yeah, the Chatham one was a big one for me. Ended up winning 5-0, so I'm back in the reverse this time.
Boo. Right, that's it for non-league nerds.
This will not be beaten.
I really like the price of Mansfield at Stevenage. You can get them at 10 to 3, 100 to 30, Betfair, Paddy Power. And basically, they're just a really streaky team. They started unbelievably well, Mansfield did this season. I think they only lost 2 of their opening 12 fixtures. They then lost 5 on the spin. Then they won 4 of 6 games. And I don't think they've won any of their last 11 domestic matches. But just wait. I think a turning form might be on the horizon. Since the defeat, the 3-0 to Lincoln, they lost narrowly at Wrexham, and then they drew against Burton and Wigan, but they were desperately unlucky not to get, I think, 6 points from them last 2 games. They had 43 shots in total, 9 on target, missed a penalty, racked up an XG around 3.4 across those 2 games, and only conceded 0.6 of an XG, and they only got 2 points, a point in each, so desperately unlucky. And their rotten form, although they were in the playoffs at the start of the season, they've slumped to like below mid-table. I think they're 7 points above the relegation zone. But Crawley, Cambridge and Burton have all picked up recently, so I don't think they're even safe yet. Not in my book. Stevenage, they are safe. You can't understate the cracking job Ravel's done. He's a rookie manager, don't forget, and he inherited what's always going to be a pretty one-dimensional squad from Steve Evans. You know how he operates, and he's managed to turn a team who, let's face it, are punching well above their weight in League One, budget-wise, squad-wise, manager-wise, and he's steered them safe. So they'd be forgiven for taking their foot off the gas here. Burton, you can get 4 to 5 double chance. That looks a lovely bet, but I think the 10 to 3 about them to win's worth it, even though the form looks rotten. I've looked past that because they've been desperately unlucky last 2 games. And as I say, Stevenage, their season is over. They're safe. They'll be in League One next season. So yeah, getting against them here. Mansfield 10 to 3. What have you got next?
I have got going back to Scotland again from the same similar bet I had last week. Got Inverness to win, and both teams score at 3.75 away at Dumbarton. I mentioned it last week on a pod before the Wi-Fi cut me off. I had loads of messages saying it was the best podcast yet because I wasn't on it, so it shows how popular I am on the show.
This is rude.
Yeah, Dumbarton really struggling at the bottom of the league with no money. They've lost 7 of their last 8, with both teams score landing in the last 7 and 11 out of 14 at home. There's not really much more to say on this bet other than Dumbarton are shit, but can get a goals, and Cully are significantly better. So it's one of them bets I'm just going to keep doing regardless of the opposition until it sort of flops. So yeah, Inverness win and both teams score at 3.75.
Lovely. It was a shame that got cut out of the last show because you had some lovely rock knowledge, didn't you?
Yeah, I was ranting about the rock. What I was saying last week, I don't get it. So Dumbarton's ground, there's one stand. They built it facing away from the rock, so it's the same side as the rock. What's the point? You've got like an unbelievable rock. You get a great view, and you fucking put a stand in front of it. It was a good little ground. I enjoyed it, but it really pissed me off.
You've got an unbelievable rock. What?
Yeah, it's not. Oh, have you seen? Search it. It's brilliant.
I need to actually search.
It's fucking brilliant rock. It's called the Dumbarton Rock. You get like an unbelievable view, like the sea and everything. And why would you not want the one stand in your ground to face it? Instead, it's like staring into nothingness.
Let's have a look at this Dumbarton Rock. Oh yeah, that is grand. And is that
see what I mean?
That you can see the side of it on the pictures?
Yeah. What's the point in the stand there?
I
See what I mean?
I do get it. I get it.
I'm still not over it. It's been a week been 6 days since I went there, and yeah, I'm still not over it.
That is silly. I'll put a picture on the YouTube video so you can see. That is magnificent, though. I get what you're saying about the rock.
It's class, isn't it? Yeah, it's so nice.
That I think they're underselling it, calling it a rock. This mountain.
Yeah, it's like it looks like Gibraltar, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is beautiful. So I'm gonna take as La Liga next. I've got a few picks from here. The first one Saturday, Barca play Osasuna, and I like a red card at 5-1. Betfair Paddy Power, a red card each team at 100-1. Same firms, only a quarter of a point on that, and it's obviously all because of the referee Mateo Busquets Ferreira. I think that's how you say. He's averaging just under 6 per game yellows in La Liga and 0.36 red cards per game this season. In 65 appearances, he's dished out 26. That's across his whole career, red cards. So 0.4 a game. Osasuna have been involved in 5 games with red card this term. Barca have been involved in 8 across 41 in all competitions, which includes 3 red cards in the last 6. And this fixture has thrown up 5 red cards across the last 6 meetings as well. So great ref, bit of a track record for red cards this game, and it's going to be a really competitive game because Barca have gone top of the league. Well, I think they've been top for a few weeks, but they're top of the league. It's a 3-horse race between them, Real Madrid and Atleti, and Osasuna. I think they're still in the hunt for European football, so it should be a competitive game. Obviously, Barca played with 10 men against Benfica for about 80 minutes in midweek, so they'll be a bit leggy. They've got the return leg of that to look forward to next week, so perfect time to play Barca. There'll be a few tired legs and a good record for red cards. Sticking along similar lines, Gavi is 13-5, I think, for a yellow card. We bet 365 and 33-1 with all the firms who have priced it. So I think bet 365, William Hill, and Sky Bet for a red card. And based on the referee, I think it's worth looking at cards, and Gavi's the standout prize, to be honest. Even though he is a bit shorter than I'd really want to be taking. Usually, as a rule of thumb for a player card, you've got to take this because he's got 30 yellows and 1 red card across 96 league appearances for Barca. That's 0.45 cards per 90, which literally translates to a price of 23-20, so just over even. So the 3.6 about him to be booked this weekend's massive, as is the 33 one. That's more of a punt, to be fair, but based on the ref, based on the players on both sides, I think he's the most likely. There is a risk that he won't play. He's been ill and injured a lot this season, but because it's with 365, they'll just void it, so there's no risk. So yeah, those are the 4 bets for Barca v Osasuna. Red card in the game, 5-1. Red card each team, 100-1. Both with Betfair, Paddy Power, and then Gavi card, Gavi red card, both at 365. Where are you taking us next?
Yeah, I think that's a big price. Like, you said it's a bit short that you want to take, but when it's a Spanish player, I don't know, it
Mm.
feels different. You rarely get a Spanish player that price in La Liga, so yeah, I do really like it. I'm going from Barcelona to Burton, and Bolton win and both teams to score at fours. Um, Bolton have turned it round under Schumacher. They won 4 of the 5 under him in the league, with both teams score landing at all. The exception was a 0-0 draw at Wrexham, which is a really good result. Bolton are charging towards promotion, and I think they do it. I think they just sneak under the radar and just sneak in there. Autos, I really do. Burton have also turned a corner under Bowyer, who's given them every chance for survival. They've only failed to score twice in the last 11, and that was away at Barnsley and Wycombe. So, I can see it being a high-scoring game that Bolton win at fours.
Have they turned it around? Bolton? Have they?
Bolton, yeah, they've won 4 of the last 5.
I thought they were right, lucky. A couple of them. Lucky,
Yeah, but they,
lucky
they still
boys.
won, Jim. They still
Yeah,
won, and
that's
they're better
half the
than
battle.
Burton.
Are they better than
Yeah,
Burton? I fucking love
miles
Burton.
better.
I would just
Yeah, they're
sorry, I was just
what?
looking then because McAtee's been cooking under Schumacher, and I was just trying to see what price he was to score because I might sneak that into the staking plan. But shock horror, my Wi-Fi's been shite, so I'll leave it for
I'll have a
now.
quick look.
Yeah,
I'll
could
have a
you have a
quick look
look
for
for us,
that.
Matthew, while I just
Of
talk
course I can.
about Getafe Atletico.
3.75.
Oh, is he? He's been getting a lot of goals, but he's not an out-and-out striker, and he's quite streaky. And I'm not sure he plays the duration of a game. I'll leave it, but he has been in form. Back to La Liga for me, Getafe v Atletico, and I mentioned it before, that three-horse race for the title. Things are hotting up. Atletico leapfrogged Real Madrid last weekend. Real Madrid lost to Betis. Atletico beat Athletic Club, I think, so they swapped positions. But I think there's going to be loads more twists and turns before the end of the season in La Liga. Atletico have got Real Madrid in the round of 16 Champions League, and this fixture comes slap bang in the middle, and I think it stinks of a banana skin, to be honest. Simeone's been really good at managing his squad's minutes. I don't think anyone's played over 80% of the football Atletico have played this season, which is a slight caveat to this pick, but Getafe look a lovely price. You can get them at 4.75 with Betfair, and I think that includes the 90-minute payout, because I tried doing it with the Mansfield pick, but it didn't. But this price includes the 90-minute payout. So if they're winning in 90 minutes, added bonus that you're automatically paid out. On the 90th minute, I mean. Obviously, usually when I say they're winning after 90 minutes, it means they win the game. Anyway, but Simeone's record after European games is pretty patchy. They've played 8 games. They've only won 4. And their last 3, lost to Betis, drew at Real Sociedad, drew at Rayo Vallecano. And Getafe are so good at home. They've only lost 3 all season. All of them have been by a 1-goal margin. But they drew against Barcelona on their own patch. Lost away at Barca. Lost 2-0 away at Real Madrid, and lost 1-0 in the reverse of this fixture. But it's more about their home form. I think it's going to be a real tight game, and I definitely want to get the outsiders on. So my dog's down. Well, my nan's dog's down here, and we're looking after it. And if you leave her downstairs, she starts crying. So I thought she'd be less noise up here, but she's just, I don't know what she's doing. She's trying to dig a hole in carpet under desk. But I just think Getafe are too big this weekend, especially considering Atletico's Champions League duty. So getting them at 4.75 with Betfair is the bet. Where are you taking us next?
Stockport, Charlton, and Benoni Anderson to score at 3.75.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen this guy for Stockport yet?
The big fucker of an Icelandic striker.
Yeah, they just may have unearthed the best striker in the world. He was breaking goal scoring records in Iceland, then came to England in January. He got on his debut 22 minutes off the bench to help them see out a game at home to Barnsley. Since then, he scored a brace off the bench against Blackpool and then a late equaliser off the bench against Northampton. So I think he should be rewarded with a start on Saturday. And I just think there's a lot to be excited by this player, and he could be the difference between playoff and autos for Stockport. So Anderson to score 3.75.
Yeah, I think he was the first player to get 20 goals in an Icelandic season, weren't he, or something?
Yeah, he's only like 19, 20 as well. He got like 25 in 28 games. He's got like crazy goal scorer. I don't say only Icelandic league, but yeah, he's translating well to England so far.
Yeah. Yep. A lot to like about that bet. I love it. I've got 2 more games, a few more bets, but I'll stick in La Liga for now. Real Madrid v Rayo Vallecano. And I'm gonna do it. I'm just tipping Rayo Vallecano to win 10-1 Betfair again. I think that includes if they're winning on 90 minutes, it's paid out. And the Champions League teams, I love getting against them in between their first and second legs of the knockout stage. And there were 16 teams played in midweek. Only 15 teams one team's not playing this weekend. It's either Feyenoord or PSV. I think it's Feyenoord because the Dutch league cancelled their fixture so they could focus on Champions League duty. So from those 15 remaining teams, I whittled it down to who I like the best based on the price, obviously, recent form, obviously, the record after Champions League games, credentials of the next opponents, and the state of play in their Champions League game at half time. And that got rid of a lot of teams like Arsenal are battering PSV. So both of them teams were ticked off. I usually love getting Club Brugge, getting against them mid Champions League, in between Champions League game, but they're playing city rivals Cercle Bruges, and Cercle Bruges played last night in the Conference League, so I had to ditch them. Benfica, I also looked at getting against them, but they're at home, and I think they've only lost one home game across the last 3 seasons, so I physically couldn't tip them. And the team they're playing, they dicked them 10-0 last season. So, yeah, eventually got it down to this one, Rayo Vallecano. And they are pretty good. This is also a derby, so immediately got me interested. Rayo Vallecano are seventh in La Liga, outside chance of qualifying for Europe, and they've got a fair record against the big three in La Liga. Played four, drawn two, lost two. They lost against Barcelona away, but that was only 1-0, and it was Robert Lewandowski penalty. They were beaten 2-1 at home against Barca, but they took the lead. They drew 1-1 with Atleti at home, but they smashed them on the XG. I don't know how the game went. I didn't watch it, so I'm just winging it with the XG. But the reverse of this fixture ended 3-3. And again, Rayo Vallecano won the XG battle comfortably. Real Madrid scored 3, but they only had an XG of 0.7, so kind of a case that they were a bit lucky to get a draw in the reverse. And Real Madrid's record in this head-to-head, bear in mind it's a derby, so I'm going to use it because it supports my argument, but generally head-to-head's pretty useless. But Los Blancos have dropped points on 5 occasions, so half of the games across the last 10 head-to-heads. The 3 games they've won, they only won by 1 goal. So I'm expecting it to be tight, and at the prices available, I just think it's worth having a punt on Rayo Vallecano. Of course, there's more sensible ways to do it. You can get them 1.75 head start on the Asian handicap, so half stakes back if they lose by 2. You're a loser if they lose by more than 2. Call it off as a bad bet, but if they lose by 1 or draw or win, the bet's paid out, and that line's going to drift till 2. I'm confident of that before kickoff, because it's always the way getting against big European teams. They just get shorter and shorter closer to kickoff. So I'm going to track it as price I've said, 10-1 Rayo Vallecano to win, but just hold off until the day of the game because you might get 11-12s, and that Asian line, obviously that's not going in the record, it's not long enough, but that'll go to 2. I'm confident of that. Last point on this, it's a good time to play Real Madrid. They've only won 1 of the last 5 in the league, and they're groggy after European nights. Played 10, dropped points in 4, but they've dropped points in 3 of the last 5, which includes the reverse of this. They were 1-2 to win. Trip to Espanyol, they were 3-10 to win, and they also dropped points against Osasuna. They were 1-2 to win. So I think everything just stinks of a shock result here. Real Madrid's recent form, fact that it's a derby, Real Madrid's record after Champions League games, and Rayo Vallecano's record against Real Madrid is pretty good. So Rayo Vallecano 10-1. Betfair is my next pick. Where do we go now?
Since you've only got one left, I'll rattle through my last few EFL before Prem later. So I've gone Peterborough to beat Wycombe at 3.25. I haven't lost the plot, I swear. But I know Posh have been shit this season, but I quite like their side. There's a lot to like about their side, and they just sort of haven't, the performances and results haven't matched, but they've sort of picked it up a tiny bit recently. They drew at Stevenage and Blackpool, beat Huddersfield away and Shrewsbury at home. I think Ferguson's finally been a bit more pragmatic in the battle for survival, and I think that's getting the best out of his side. They faced the Wycombe side who've just beaten Burton 2-0, but I'm still not convinced by Dodds. He's failed to stamp his authority on the chasing pack, on Wycombe as a chasing pack loom. They're not as free scoring as they perhaps could have been. They're free without an away win, and I think pressure will get to them, and Posh are good enough to sting them. So I've gone Peterborough win at 3.25. Got Grimsby to beat Walsall, and both teams to score at 8. The Grimsby win on its own is quite big, but I'm being greedy. Walsall are bottling the title at the moment and may even struggle to get automatics. They've won just twice in the last 10. Both team scorers landing 12 out of 18 at home for them. They're facing a Grimsby side who are making a late charge for the playoffs, are now 7 unbeaten, with both teams score landing in.
And that's where the recording cut out. Fucking annoying. But I'll just add screenshot if you're watching on YouTube of all the bets left for Matthew, all the bets left for me now, here and here. And if you listen on Spotify, I'll quickly just recap all of our picks. Sorry, they're not going to have an explanation. Went out last night. We weren't come to edit the video and I've seen half it's missing, so I need to sort Riverside out. But Matthew's selections, non-league, he's got 3 picks. Eastleigh, Hartlepool, Eastleigh to win and both teams to score, 4.75. Bet 365. Worthing to beat Chesham and both teams to score, that's at 3.4. Bet 365. Whitehawk to win, 3.3. That's against Chatham. Then he's gone back to Scotland, Inverness v Dumbarton. He's going Dumbarton and both teams to score, that's at 3.75. Bolton v Burton, Bolton to win and both teams to score at 3-1 with 365. The big lad, Benny Anderson, to score anytime for Stockport against Charlton, that's at 3.75. We bet 365. Posh, Peterborough to beat Wycombe. I'm not sure about that one. 3.25, that's we bet 365. My favourite pick, Walsall v Grimsby. Grimsby to win and both teams to score a whopping 7-1, bet 365. Bromley to beat Tranmere at 2-1. And then in the Premier League, he's got 3 picks. Minter, 3 tackles. Brighton v Fulham, that's at 3.75. We're bet 365. And Cecil 3 shots. Palace v Ipswich, that's at 3-1. He loves that bet. And then he's also got a card doubling Wolves v Everton, Gomez and Gay. 14-1, half a point on that. I have got Mansfield to beat Stevenage, 100-30 with Betfair and Paddy Power. Red card each team there at 5-1 and 100-1, quarter a point on the 100-1. That's in Barca v Osasuna. I've gone Gavi card in the same game, 3.6. Bet 365, Gavi red card, 33-1, quarter of a point on that with Bet 365. Same price with William Mill and Sky, but take it with 365 because it's going to get voided if he don't play, and he has been poorly. So, Getafe to beat Atleti, Madrid at 4.75 with Betfair. I think you get that nice 90-minute payout on there, so do that if you can. And then Rayo Vallecano to beat Real Madrid at 10-1, Betfair, 1 point on that. And then Man United Arsenal, I've gone Gabriel to score, 9-1 with Betfair and Paddy Power. Long shots, I've got loads. I've got Mansfield, Getafe, Rayo Vallecano all to win. It's at 195-1 at the minute. Play that as a tricksy point in total, but wait until about 2:45 if you can, if you're joining me back in that, because I think it's going to be well over 200-1 by then. No cards in the Man United game, get that around 55-1, Betfair and Paddy Power, but do it by doing under 1.5 cards, most cards in the game to be a tie, and it boosts it to 55-1, because on the sports book it's 33-1. Under 2.5 cards, Gabriel goal, that's at 40-1. Under 0.5 cards, Gabriel goal, that's at nearly 300-1. Quarter a point on all of them. And for the last bet builder, fuck knows why, but if you do under 0.5 cards this time, and Gabriel goal, it's bigger than if you do under 1.5 tie and Gabriel goal. Just have a play around with it because there's different prices for everything, but the biggest price you can get on the no cards Gabriel goal is by doing it under 0.5. I don't know why either. And I've also had a quarter point on Gabriel Brace. Right, that is 150-1, Betfair and Paddy Power. That is everything. Sorry about the record. Sorry about the coming out on Saturday. That's later than ever. We'll be back in midweek. I'm going to invest in a premium Riverside account right now as well. So we'll be back to normal next week. I swear to God. See you then.